What's going on, fanbots? It's the always reliable hawkeyeorhawkguy here. I'm riding solo this week, but that's not going to stop me from bringing you all of the comic book feels in the newest edition of the Weekly Expo. Now, we had a Weekly Expo devoted to Image. We had a Weekly Expo devoted to DC. This week, Marvel takes the cake. The next big thing happening at Marvel is Secret Wars. By the sound of it, it's basically almost the exact same thing that's happening at DC's Convergence. Now, all of the Marvel universes are collapsing in on one another and creating one central battle world. Kind of a cool premise. We're going to see a bunch of different versions, different alternate universes of characters all coming together, trying to survive. I love AU stuff. I got started reading comics through Elseworlds titles like Batman Bloodstorm and Superman Red Sun, so I think it's stellar. But it might be a little difficult to wade through all of the series that they're going to release during this Secret Wars event. So I did the little nifty thing of making a top 10 series I'm most excited for Secret Wars. And these are in no particular order, just the order that I decided to write them down on my phone. First, I want to start off with Ghost Racers, being written by Felipe Smith and being drawn by Juan Gideon. If you have been reading the all-new Ghost Rider, you know Felipe Smith, his Ghost Rider is amazing. The new Ghost Rider, Robbie, is going to be thrown together with a bunch, basically all of the other Ghost Riders, who apparently are going to be racing against one another for some reason. Now, I don't care what the reason is. I'm just going to be honest with you. Maybe they just feel like the world's ending, so why not drive their nifty, souped up cars, boats, horses, scooters, whatever. Doesn't matter. The art looks gorgeous, and it's all of the Ghost Riders. The next two and three, are both being written by Jason Aaron. The first one is called Weird World, which is written by Jason Aaron and is going to be drawn by Mike Del Mundo, who, if you've been reading Elektra, you know has just stellar, almost water painting. What's that called?
Watercolor. Watercolor
art style. Very gorgeous. And it's supposed to be an homage to like 70s sword and sorcery Marvel tales. Primarily, I'm excited for this series because of Jason Aaron. I'm not too familiar with a lot of the sword and sorcery stuff, but Jason Aaron has been doing a tremendous job on Thor and everything else I've ever read by him. So I know this is going to be a good story, and I think it's going to be fun. The next series, as I said, also written by Jason Aaron, is going to be drawn by Chris Sprouse, and it's Thor's. Now, like Ghost Racers, this involves all of the different alternate universe versions of Thor. So we have Frog Thor, we have Thor, that's actually the Destroyer, we have the new female Thor, we have old King Thor, Beta Ray Bill, even Storm Thor, coming together and acting as the police force in this new battle world, not unlike the Green Lantern Corps. Jason Aaron says that he's basically writing a cop drama, but instead of guns, he's going to be using hammers. Kind of says it all. The next one that I'm excited about, I think a lot of people are going to be excited about, and it's Old Man Logan, being written by Brian Michael Bendis and being drawn by the amazingly talented Andrea Sorrentino, who I think is now a Marvel exclusive artist, which is pretty cool because his art is gorgeous. This is supposed to take place right after the original Old Man Logan series, where Logan is traveling the world with the baby Hulk, trying to do good things and right the wrongs of blurby. But I just so excited, because it's not the original team of Mark Miller and Steve McNiven, but Brian Michael Bendis has been doing, in my opinion, a great job with Uncanny X-Men, all new X-Men, Miles Morales. I love his writing, I love his style, I love the time period, and Andrea Sorrentino's art. It adds a lot of gravitas to the situation, and I think it's just going to be a beautiful, well-written comic all the way through. Next is a series that I am probably top 3 most excited for, A-Force, which is being written by G. Willow Wilson, who is currently writing Ms. Marvel, Marguerite Bennett, and is going to be drawn by Jorge Molina. The series involves alternate versions of various members of the Avengers who are female coming together, protecting their battle world domain, and I really couldn't be more excited. To be honest, like for me, it's just nice to see a series that finally isn't going to be led primarily by men. I mean, the New Avengers is one of my favorite runs so far from Hickman, but it's basically a dude fest. Variety, the spice of life. Next is one that I'm kind of surprised by, but I think is going to do really, really well. And it's a new Runaways series being written by Noelle Stevenson, who is the writer of the, pardon my French, kick-ass comic line Lumberjanes, working along with Sanford Green, who is known for his work on Uncanny X-Men, I believe. And it's described as a Breakfast Club-like story involving the various teenage characters in the Marvel Universe working together, despite many of them hating each other. I love teen drama. I love Lumberjanes, and I love Noelle Stevenson. And I loved her work on the recent Thor annual, so I can't wait. Next, this is a series called 1872, and it's being written by Jerry Dugan, who's known for his work on Deadpool, and is being drawn by Evan Shaner. If you ever watched a comics, etc. before, you know I'm in love with the man. The series stands as a Wild West reimagining of the Avengers. I will read this series just to see all of the Avengers in 19th century suits. Yeah, and Steve Rogers is totally actually a sheriff, cowboy hat and all, and they've got Tony Stark in his, like, that's not a bandana, apron. That blacksmiths wear, and then I love the artwork for Bruce Banner because he's just like checking his stopwatch. He's like, Hulk time. So hopefully that'll be good. The next two actually are both X-Men tales. The first is Inferno, which is going to be written by Dennis Hopeless and is going to be drawn by Javier Guerin, and it involves the popular Inferno run on X-Men, where Hell was basically like released in, I believe, Manhattan. Don't quote me on that. This series is supposed to explore what if that area had remained connected to Hell all this time. I just think that sounds exciting. The next X-Men one is Ease for Extinction, which is going to be written by Chris Burnham, who's usually an artist, so this is really cool, and is going to be drawn by Ramon Villalobos. And I really am excited for this one because this is a continuation, or spiritual continuation rather, of Grant Morrison's run on X-Men. And as opposed to being straight, like, what happens next if the storyline had gone the way Grant Morrison wants, it's actually a reimagining of it where instead of the general population being afraid of mutants, they actually revered them as heroes. Chris Burnham revealed that because he's currently working on the Nameless with Grant Morrison, he actually has talked to Grant Morrison, asked him for his opinion. Grant Morrison gave him the seal of approval and even gave him some ideas. And looking at some of Ramon Villalobos' art from the preview, you can tell he's emulating that Frank Quitely style that went along with Grant Morrison's work. So you can tell this is going to be a passionate project where they're really trying to capture the feel of the original series. And then last but not least, and I was considering not throwing this one on here, but I think it's going to be kind of amusing, is Starlord and Kitty Pryde, which is going to be written by Sam Humphries, the current writer for Starlord. And it's going to be drawn by Alti Fermancia. The series involves the current universe Starlord traveling along with Kitty Pryde. But this Kitty Pryde is actually the Kitty Pryde from the Age of Apocalypse universe. I don't know why, but I just find this so amusing. Peter Quill is in a relationship with Kitty right now. And somehow, our universe Kitty just disappears, and suddenly he's traveling with the Age of Apocalypse clawed, angry version of her. Like, does he not notice? There's so many questions that I need answered. So that's why I'm going to read it. Those are the series that I'm looking forward to most about Secret Wars. Please leave me a comment below. Let me know which series you're looking forward to, or if you think that the series that I'm looking forward to are junky garbage. Also, give this video a like, and make sure that you stay tuned for our next comics video, where I give the weekly reviews. Thank you for joining me, and always remember who you are and what you are. Do not cause any trouble out there in that world. And remember that alternate universes are totally the best. Anyone who says that there's no need for them and they just muck up continuity and blah 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 is wrong, because you haven't lived until you've seen Batman with a monocle chowing down some dude's neck. Bye! Bye, Batman Red Storm or Blood Rain or whatever it's called. Trust me, it's worth your time.